I'm quite tired, so let's get this over with. I'm a picky bitch. Yeah, that's a good way to start a video. Hi parents, I'm the Slim Shady of Airsoft. Take a seat and be ready to be disappointed by your child's choice of entertainment. Where was I? Oh yeah, I'm a picky bitch. Where did I go wrong where I decided that the most common gun with the most support wasn't good enough for me? Why am I trying to handicap myself so hard that I need to search for another rifle that takes proprietary magazines? I must need a dominatrix or some Bush administration era Guantanamo Bay guards because I must love torture. This is the Ares L1A1 SLR. This is actually my personal Star L1A1 SLR, Star being the original group that Ares broke away from years after this rifle was created. And this is its sexier sister. G3s might look good, especially with the Set Me kit on it, but this is why internet porn was created. To distract the general population from just how good they could have it with the wood-furnished L1A1 SLR. Parents, are you guys still with me, or have you taken your child or your Scotty-obsessed girl away from my reach? I have been known to make panties simply evaporate, like child support evaporates newly divorced fathers' paychecks. But this is where the review has to begin, which is sponsored by Airsoft GI. God help them. They have created a monster by giving me an opportunity to make a review about this rifle. At least you can try to flex your money flow if you like to get this almost R-rated rifle for yourself on the Airsoft GI site. The price might be a little steep though, so you're really going to have to flex that wallet like Alphonse's arms. Muscle milk just oozing from your wallet. But we'll see if this price is worth it in the end. Now this rifle begins where it always does, but without the same damn backdrop that you've seen a couple dozen times now. Nope, this time I'm unboxing it right here on the counter of the California Airsoft GI store. Alright, so here we go. Cardboard box. It's got some graphics all around it showing off the L1A1. Might as well just be some chicks getting it on, but whatever, it's good enough. Flipping it open, we see that Ares actually cared about how they packed this thing. It's not just some zip ties and some plastic holding it into the box. The whole gun and magazine is wrapped in plastic with the manual on top. This manual will show you all the basic need-to-know things like how to use your controls and how to disassemble the rifle. But you're probably going to ignore this anyway, so be sure that you lose it and then complain later when you realize that you can't actually tech on your own guns worth a shit. Now I do appreciate the full metal 120 round mid-cap magazine that comes included, the Ram My Rod speed loader, and of course, my panties quickly turned to dust after I unwrapped this smooth criminal. That's all fine and f***ing dandy, but can you explain to me who fell asleep at the wheel and didn't include the flash hider in the box? Apparently, this isn't a mistake. They actually have the nerve to sell the flash hider separately. If Krytac, E&L, and so on can include a separate flash hider in the box, then what's your reasoning for not throwing us a bone that should already be in our mouths? I'd even be fine if you just included the flash hider and painted half of the thing orange. At least it would be there. Long story not so short, I hope you step on a Lego barefoot for making me have to buy this flash hider separately. Now that I've got this Ares L1A1 SLR out of the box, I'm going to show you why I'd have a hard time choosing if I'd like to play Airsoft with Post Malone or be able to take this gun home. Also, yes, I haven't gotten a single word back from Post Malone's social medias. It's looking like I'll have to step up my game to Stan levels. Anyway, this Ares is definitely not a short weapon. You're looking at a nearly 4-foot long rifle made of metal and wood, and of course plastic depending on what model you want. This makes up a roughly 8-pound skinny rifle. Starting at the end of the outer barrel, we of course get 14mm counterclockwise threads for whatever muzzle device or over-redundant Mark 18 suppressor you'd like to add on. I guess you can actually get the correct flash hider for this rifle or get something else to go on here, but you've got me like 46 out of 50 levels of f***ed up if you think it's wise to put an M4 birdcage flash hider on these threads. If you do screw one on, do yourself a favor and delete yourself. Alright, moving on, we've got the sights. And oh, holy Moses, are these some simple sights? Effective, yes, and the front sight can be adjusted for elevation, while the rear can be adjusted for both windage and elevation. I've seen some people get the aftermarket rail dust cover that would replace the smooth dust cover that comes on the rifle already, but unless you're going to add a rail onto this L1A1 the correct way, I just leave this rifle alone. The rear sight doesn't flip up with any authority at all, but that's just my preference. These sights, they just look good to me. I do like the mock adjustable gas block near the front sight. That was a nice touch. As for the very delectable furniture, Well, you've got two options to choose from. There are no options to get any pick rails or key mod or M-lock or Tupac lock, so you can conjoin this sacred piece with your practically useless grenade launcher that you use shower shells with anyway. You get two choices: nylon fiber plastic or the good wood. Besides the stock access for the battery, this choice won't affect anything besides looks. Neither feel cheap or brittle. My older rifle's handguard creaks just a bit if you grip it with some real booty-grabbing force, but so does pelvis's, so that's not much to worry about. To access the small tight battery connections on the plastic furniture model, you'll have to pull this butt pad outward and then twist it to one side. This gives you a lot of room to work with, but in comparison to the woodstock model storage, well, if you don't have a battery like this, then you can just forget about it. It's not going to happen. This rifle does tip the scales as the sexiest airsoft gun ever created, but it's still not perfect. My Galil's, as an example, should also be somewhere on the better than your gun tree. But hey, guess what? Wobbles, breaks easily, no mid-caps. So, moving on. The L1A1 has always had some of my favorite to use controls, that being on the Airsoft replica and on the real rifle. The huge selector switch, the folding charging handle, which folds so it doesn't get caught on any of your gear that you're running with when using this rifle, but the bolt release is totally useless, so that's a bit of a bummer. And some people might not like the magazine release, as it's not too big on the right side, but larger on the left. To me, it's a less accessible AK paddle release at some times, but it's still not hard to work with. Magazine changes with this rifle will still be a breeze. The selector switch also features safe and semi, but with the Ares aftermarket selector switch, you could access the full auto function that's available with the L1A1, or at least this Airsoft replica. This isn't really the kind of rifle I'd expect people to be spraying with, but hey, at least we're given the option if you don't mind buying another part. Pulling back the bolt will expose the wheel type hop-up that I found to be very effective with 0.28 gram BBs, even with the hop-up not dialed in all the way. Even 0.3 grams wouldn't be too much of a stretch if you want some more stability at ranges past 150 feet. My old Star model does hook from side to side due to either the barrel being scratched on the inside or the flash hider being bent just slightly, which is causing the BBs to skip off once in a while, as you can see. But I can still get 150 feet when it behaves. Like the LCT G3 that we went over a while back, if you've got an act for teching on your guns, then you're in luck, because this could be a great long-range rifle if you've got some extra money to spend for upgrades. Just don't ever use this lever to try to break this rifle down like the real thing. That's a good way to snap your nozzle in half and most likely destroy your hop-up unit. Follow the guide in your manual or look up a breakdown video. It's pretty easy stuff anyway, as long as you got a flathead screwdriver. Using this lever carefully though, the receivers will split open just a bit so you can move the selector switch past where it should be able to go, granting you the full auto function. That is, if you care to even do this. But anyway, taking a quick rundown on this Ares, you get easy to use controls, very sturdy sling points, an iconic look that a lot of people want, but not a lot of people actually get. It is shorter in length than the real rifle by just a bit, but that's a very slight thing to pick on. And of course, on the inside we have a version 3 reinforced gearbox, which sits inside with steel gears, a short high torque motor, and a 6.03 555mm inner barrel to fit inside the huge outer barrel. However, despite their age gap, my Star-made rifle and this wood-furnished Ares are built with the same quality, and if one is made any better than the other, then I can't tell at all. None of today's innovations have changed this classic rifle in any way. Picking one of these rifles up is kind of like a small insight to how airsoft guns were made just not too long ago. The markings all over this rifle will make a Brit who used this rifle in training blush, and the carry handle is super sturdy, so much so that you could hold it in these weird angles and it still won't give. No MOSFETs, no programmable trigger units or fire selectors. This is a down-to-earth, no gimmick rifle, or at least it would be if it was a simple M4 or AK. Not having the correct flash hider with the bayonet mount in the box is still bullshit though. Like, imagine if you bought a car and they didn't give you the front bumper. The metal bare frame was there, but nothing else. At the chronograph with a bottle of 0.2 gram BBs, I was actually surprised to see such low FPS readings for this rifle, at 360 to 370, but that's not too much or too little. That's actually pretty nice, especially if you're aggressive with rushing on the field. The biggest letdown was not being able to take this L1A1 home like a good date. I'd honestly rather go in debt with Airsoft GI than go without this dismisser of all stable relationships. Hell, I'd rather contemplate rectum exploration with the strangers behind the Walmart near my home. With range and accuracy to boot, a great reputation as an elusive rifle from the past, simple controls, and amazing looks, the Ares L1A1 SLR holds a spot as my second favorite rifle in all of Airsoft. Is it worth $430 though? Is it worth buying proprietary magazines for? Is this the rifle worth going through the trouble of going up against the admittingly tactically superior platforms that flood the airsoft world? Well, that's for you guys to decide in the comments down below. Is this the rifle for you? And is this the rifle that'll end up in your collection very soon? Well, if you want it as soon as possible, then be sure to check out the links provided in the description to send you off to airsoftgi.com. I hope you enjoyed this review as much as I did making it. I know a lot of you guys wanted me to make a review over my Ares L1A1 ever since I first got it because I've been teasing it by putting it in the background of a lot of my videos. So, here you go. But with that said, I'd like to thank you all for watching this review, and I'd like to thank the past 1,000 people that spanked that like button in the last video. The channel is doing awesome right now because of stuff like that, plus these sexy people that leave all these great comments that stoke the flame. Every comment, every time we break 1,000 likes, and every person just sharing the love for USAirsoft is what keeps this channel going. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. But until that next video drops from the city of San Antonio, this has been Scott Holmbeck.
Okay.
And I will be sure to see you all next time.
38.
What do you think of that thing, man?
I think it's just a lot straighter than I thought it would. I mean, it's a really long rifle, so I kind of assumed that it would be kind of dead on, but I also really like the trigger response. This thing is actually really, really nice.
And that wood furniture?
Oh, gotta love the wood furniture, man. You don't see it often nowadays in the age of polymer and metal. This thing is really clean looking.
There we go, that's an improvement, 6.93. The trigger is very responsive and I love that. Of course, it's kind of sin to shoot it with your middle finger, but oh man. This thing shoots so dead on.